Hey, this is Sonic, and you're watching TelekinesticMan.
So, it's Sonic the Hedgehog's 25th anniversary on Thursday the 23rd of June, and as you could probably tell from my Sonic-themed introduction video that you would have just seen, I am quite the Sonic fan. I felt that it would be appropriate to go over my personal history with the character, as this channel has primarily been a host for Sonic-related content for quite some time. This video will be partially scripted. At the moment I am kind of reading a script, but later on it'll be a little bit looser, but I will have some pictures and videos coming up on the screen for you to look at. Fair warning, this video is a little bit corny and dumb, and I fully accept that. It's a summary of my time with a character who many people despise, and you know what, power to them, provided of course that they have justification for why they hate the character. YouTubers out there such as I Hate Everything hate Sonic, but I really don't give a shit and I still like his videos. This one is more obviously catered to the Sonic fans out there who watch my channel, or those that are devoted to my channel and have stuck around for quite a while, or even if you're new and you want to hear about my edgy backstory. Without further ado, I'll start explaining my history with the character and then move into things such as my collection of stuff to do with Sonic, my predictions for what the new game could be and the Sonic movie, and a little bit of a sort of retrospective about my previous channel, this current one, things earlier on in my time and all that sort of crap. And yeah, as you can tell, I did not script this part, so let's get going. So to do with my history with Sonic, the first one I can really remember playing, and I've mentioned this before on the channel, is Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Wii, which is one of the worst Sonic games in the franchise. I'll say that right now. It is terrible. If you've ever played it, like, the only redeeming thing about the game is there's dinosaurs in it, and I love dinosaurs, so, but even then, the dinosaurs look really weird, like spikes and horns all over them, and it's just, they're very weird. They don't mesh with the Sonic art style and direction at all. But I really can't remember playing anything more than that. I am sure I knew who Sonic was before that. But yeah, I don't think I ever really was that fascinated into the character at the time. I never really put much time or thought into it. Another thing to mention real quick, I got a little bit of a blocked nose at the moment. It is winter here in Australia at the moment. For your Americans, I know it's summer. We've got the inverse, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, I got introduced to that due to my best friend Jay, who's appeared in a couple of my videos on this channel. We don't go to the same high school, and he graduated last year anyway, so we haven't spoken too much in a while. We don't tend to meet up as much as I do with my high school friends, because, you know, we go to the same school all the time. And we're very kind of, I guess, tech savvy. We use Discord. We used to use Skype a lot. Now we're on Discord all the time, talking and playing games together, whereas my friend Jay doesn't tend to do that a lot. But he was the one that introduced me to Sonic, because we were both, he was a massive Sonic fan back at the time, and that's what got me into it. He introduced me to it. And I think after Secret Rings, I would have moved on. I think it would have been Adventure 1 DX on the PC, because he had that on his computer. We had to play with a keyboard, and it was disgusting. I was introduced to a lot of stuff via, like, DeviantArt and YouTube, of not the weird stuff, thankfully, but like a lot of fan art and stuff, because him and his sister spent a lot of time doing Sonic related kind of fan art and watching videos and stuff like that. And I was already really into drawing, so I drew a lot of Sonic stuff. Like, I must have on my shelves and stuff, and just tons of books full of just all old drawings I did. Some of them I still look back and I go, hey, you know what, that's not too bad. And other ones look back and I go, oh, holy shit, that's awful. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. The first Sonic game I can recall ever properly buying was Sonic 06 for the PS3, because we had a PS3, and I was like, oh cool, let's find a Sonic game for it. I don't even remember actually buying it, but it's the first one I remember having and owning, and I've obviously still got it, so I mean, I must own it. We didn't even have a HDMI cable, so that was pretty disgusting. I thought that game was good for a little while, because I think back then I didn't understand how to be critical of games, besides just like, when you're young, you can't really critique that sort of stuff. At the time, I just kind of thought, oh, this is a good game, I'm just really bad at it, you know, that's why all these glitches and level design things, I'm just not good at it. Like, that's what I kind of thought back then, but now I look at it and go, no, that game is f***ing awful. I even used to very occasionally write some stories, not very often, like fan fiction garbage, but it was more the comic scene. I had my own comic series I did with my friends at the time that we did for quite a while, and occasionally we'd have like little jokes where like Sonic would show up or something, along like a ton of other characters. But I think there was a little bit where I made like my own kind of little Sonic comic, and it did have a really cringy fan character in it. It was named after the fan character, like he was supposed to be a title character, but even then I was kind of like, no, don't make him the focus too much. Like, he is the quote-unquote main character, but this is a Sonic story. So even back then when I was doing like shitty Sonic fan fiction, I still kind of understood a little bit where the boundary should be, you know. Don't make it like, this is my Sonic character, he's the fastest and the second fastest, he's gonna beat all the other characters, he's so good. And a little fun fact as well, that character was actually based off the character that my YouTube channel is named after, being TelekinesticMan. I don't know why, but I wanted to make a new, like, we had the story where obviously all the characters in the comic were me and my friends, which is really like 10-year-old kind of thing, which is how old we were. And at one point I decided, oh, let's like make it like a thing into the future where we're all teenagers or whatever. And so I was like, alright, well, let's kind of redesign the character, give him a new, what is like kind of superhero name, and I just thought, I want to make him like a psychic like Silver, because I thought Silver was a really cool character at the time. I still think Silver's kind of cool, but he's a little bit dumb. And so I thought, well, let's call him Telekinetic Man, because he's got telekinesis. And I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, well, that doesn't sound right. That sounds kind of weird. Let's add an S in there. Telekinestic Man! So that's the origin of my channel name, and pretty much all my screen names on Steam and Skype, Discord, and Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, all that stuff is all because of that comic. I don't know why the name just stuck. I can't remember what the first thing was that I named myself with that channel. I think with that name, I think it actually was this YouTube channel. I think this was the first thing I named myself Telekinestic Man for, but I might be wrong about that. Anyway, that's too much about my stuff that has nothing to do with Sonic. I used to make a lot of Sonic stop motions at the time. They are still on YouTube on my old channel. I'm gonna get them on my old channel later. I don't know if I'm gonna link them or not. I've never mentioned my old channel by name. It's still available. I've chosen to keep it up. As in, it's not just the fact that I have no idea what the password is or anything, but I have chosen, no, I want to keep that up there. But I'm never gonna, like, mention that, it's me. It's not that, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to find. I can guarantee you could find it in like 5 minutes, just a little bit of clever searching. I don't want to associate myself with it too much, but I'm also not afraid of people finding it and kind of having a laugh. Look at all this old garbage he used to do, and how weird his voice used to sound when he was like 11, 12 years old. Now I'm turning 18 in a few months, you know? So a little bit different there. The first game I can ever recall properly keeping up to date with, watching E3 trailers, checking news coverage following that, was actually Sonic Colors during 2010, which to me, that's not even, like, it's long ago, but it's not, like, that's not that long ago. Like, holy crap, how can I have, like, I feel young, like, I know that anyone out there who's old, like, significantly older than me watching this, but I'm like, geez, you know, how young is this kid? I'm kind of like, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, how did I never keep up with that stuff before? But I think it's, like, I've got written here, it's worth noting that I was 11 or 12 at the time, and I wasn't allowed to play games or use my computer a lot of the time due to some strict rules from my parents. Obviously it's not like that now, like I'll play games all the time or whatever. I kind of self-discipline myself of, you know, all that sort of things. So that's obviously much different, but yeah, that was the first game I was really kind of into. It was also the first one I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the DS version, picked it up launch day, got the Sonic hat with it as the pre-order bonus, and I got the Wii version as a present from members of my family. So that's a cool little milestone. That was like the very first game I ever kind of pre-ordered ever. I was super excited for Sonic Generations. Following on to that, of course, it's still one of my favorite games ever. Amazing game. I was excited for Lost World. A little bit disappointed now, but that was what kind of got me into buying a Wii U, along with Smash Brothers, of course. Sonic in Smash during the time when I played Brawl was kind of my main. I'll get more into, I guess, my time as a young kid playing Sonic later on. I've got that listed down further on in this quote-unquote script. Don't know how long this video is going to be, by the way. I've watched some of the cartoons. I've seen a little bit of Adventures, a little bit of San AM, a little bit of Underground. I've seen more of X because it was more around the time period when I was a Sonic fan, kind of. So that was the one I got exposed to the most. Don't think any of those are any good, really. And Boom is, again, it's just terrible. Same with the game. Like, both of the Boom-related things are awful in their own kind of right. And yeah, it's sort of a shame that Sonic has yet to really get like a good TV show. I don't like any of the voice actors in their shows. Ryan Drummond, please, my boy, Ryan, come back. Come on, dude. I'm waiting. I'm sending my prayers, dude. Please show up at that Sonic 25th anniversary party somehow. But yeah, so my favorite Sonic game is easily Sonic 3 Knuckles on the Sega Mega Drive. It is just the perfect combination of just good level design, enemy variety with some really nice like enemy designs and characters as well. Very memorable. Great sprite art, amazing music. One of the best Sonic soundtracks, or at least in that era. Very Michael Jackson-y, partially because Michael Jackson has been pretty much confirmed to have worked on that game. And yeah, it's not a game I grew up on. I did not grow up on Sonic 3 Knuckles. I played it much later into my like kind of Sonic hype time. But I was like, wow, this is really good. Following that, Generations is probably my second favorite, and then maybe Sonic 2 under there somewhere. Games like Sonic CD, Sonic Advance, both the Sonic Adventures, all those games kind of fall under, yeah, those are all like pretty damn good, despite some of their issues. Obviously my least favorite games are more the kind of Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06 kind of things, just terrible, boring, bland games. Sonic 4 is kind of insulting when you really get down to it. Episode 2 I think is much better than Episode 1, like insanely better, but still not really good. I mean, it's alright, but not what people wanted. And Boom is obviously just terrible. I played the demo on the Wii U and I just went, ugh, gross, terrible, awful. And to do with other games that Sega has made that I've played, Bayonetta is fantastic. That's platinum, but Sega kind of like owns them and adds in little bits and pieces. The first game has got a lot of little Sonic references hidden through it. Love Bayonetta, as some of you probably know already. I've played a little bit of Jet Set Radio. I have it on Steam. I can't really quite get into it. I love the soundtrack, but I just can't really get into that. Played a tiny bit of Somebody Amiga, like on the Wii, but that's pretty much it. And obviously there's the Sega spin-off games featuring Sonic, such as the All-Stars Racing series, Superstars Tennis, the iToy one, which I haven't played, but the other ones I have, and I do have them, so yeah. Okay, so I decided the collection part went on for quite a while, so I'm just going to show a few little pictures around the place of Sonic stuff that I got. I have most of the main title games in some form or another. I have a lot of figures and toys and shirts and posters and stuff. I have a Sonic bed cover, which is pretty great. There'll be a picture of that coming up. And yeah, so essentially, because the collection part went on for quite a while, I thought I should just dumb it down and just very briefly just show you and then just keep moving on to the much more important and interesting stuff. So yeah, sorry about that. So, my hopes for the 25th anniversary. For starters, obviously I hope that the new game is good and that it's on PC, but I have a few predictions of what the next game could be. I'm going to kind of list those out and, who knows, maybe in a few days, maybe there'll be something announced. Who knows, we'll have to see. So one of my theorized things that I've said for quite a while, and I know a lot of other people have mentioned this as well, is obviously Sonic Adventure 3, but I would kind of like if it had some kind of open world sort of hub system. Ryan Drummond, if he can come back, that would be phenomenal, and multiple characters that are fun and in the style of kind of SA1, the treatment where Tails could actually fly and not be stuck in his little mech. Maybe get the treasure hunting away from Knuckles and have him do, more platforming, slightly more linear sort of stuff, not just here's a room, find an emerald. That's kind of annoying. Also, the return of a much more robust Chow Garden like the one in SA2, but maybe with more things to do to avoid it from being boring, would be incredible, and I would love to see that in the next game. Another idea I have for what the next game could be would be something along the lines of like a true Sonic 4, or kind of like a Generations 2. There's been a lot of marketing for classic Sonic so far in the 25th anniversary, and that's got to mean something. Hopefully this would be a proper sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which theoretically could tie in with that Sonic Mega Drive comic being illustrated by Tyson Hesse, coming out this month, I believe, or very soon, which takes place after the events of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so perhaps there could be a sort of tie-in going there, but I doubt it would be that obvious. Hopefully this game would have some kind of HD sprite system, or maybe just really nice looking character models, but with the proper physics of classic Sonic, which weren't really present in Generations. But Generations was still great, so it's not a major detractor from Generations, but the physics for classic Sonic were not one-to-one. You couldn't really roll down hills or badnik bounce or anything like that. One thing I would really like is a kind of small little announcement to maybe bring up this week or something, or maybe after the trailer for the big game, whenever that gets announced at the 25th anniversary party next month, would be Sonic 3 Knuckles Remastered, either by Taxman and Stealth, who have already been working on it. Let them release that for PC, consoles, and phones, not just phones this time, please. Or like a full-on, again, like kind of HD sprite kind of thing, remake, all the physics intact, all that sort of stuff. Maybe if that does well, move on to the Advanced series next, or go back to that with the other games, I don't know. Something along those lines would be great. I would also love to see a lot of really cool collectibles. There were a ton of great things for the 20th anniversary, including the Sonic Generations Collector's Edition that I've mentioned before, which had a ton of really cool stuff in it. I would love to see something kind of similar to that back again this year. There's already been some really cool collectibles announced, such as the little collector coin you can get and things like that, but I would love to see like what else they've got in store. There's those plushies and stuff as well. But yeah, I would really love to see like some really just cool collectible stuff to come out with this anniversary. There's also the Sonic movie, which has been announced for I think 2 years now. I do not think at all it's going to be good, but I'm hoping. I would like it to have a fairly simple story with Ryan Drummond as Sonic and not Roger Craig Smith, because I'm just sick to death of Roger. I think an Unleashed style tone with the Unleashed animation would be fantastic. Have that kind of slight seriousness at points with these massive like scale shots and maybe not monsters so much like Unleashed had, but just maybe big robots from Eggman onto these like vast landscapes, but still having that really light-hearted kind of feel when it's necessary. But don't be afraid to kind of shove in a little bit of that tension and like legitimate kind of action and maybe a bit of sort of fear for the character, you know? Give it that kind of edge of something kind of like Gravity Falls, where it's a quote-unquote kids show, but it has that kind of tense story and like fascinating character arc and all like character arcs and all that stuff going on to make it acceptable and enjoyable for everyone to watch. Please don't actually be live action and CGI hybridized, because that is a terrible idea, recipe for disaster. Apparently movies made by Sony, who did Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Smurfs and that kind of stuff, if I'm correct, which are awful and have that live action CGI style, so please don't actually do that. If you're gonna have humans, make them the Unleashed style Pixar animated kind of thing, you know? That would be great. And yeah, those are my hopes. I hope I get them right. So to kind of wrap up into finishing this video off, I kind of wanted to go into a little bit more of the past stuff that I mentioned earlier with like my old YouTube channel and my kind of primary school time to do with Sonic. So my old channel is what got me into YouTube stuff, and without that I would not be here today, and I'm so glad that I have a YouTube channel, because it's not obviously the most successful like amazing thing in the world, but the fact that I've recently hit 2,000 subscribers and have in some form an audience who is watching and engaging with what I do is just really great. And the fact that that kind of spawned out of Sonic stuff, you know, I was inspired to make a channel from people like Some Call Me Johnny. I've been watching his reviews since I was like 10 or 11 years old. I remember I used to watch a Let's Player called Chaos Link 93, and this was like long before Let's Plays were like super massive. Like they're obviously still big, but they were huge back then. He did a playthrough of Sonic Unleashed on the PS3, and that was before I realized the PS3 version was like super different to the Wii version, so I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this and stuff. And yeah, so my old channel, I did a lot of weird stop motions and like dumb videos about this and that, often having to do with Sonic. The name had Sonic in it, the name of the channel, that's your little hint, I suppose. And yeah, without that kind of stuff, I would not be here. And bringing that to the current channel of TelekinesticMan, I do hope it gets better, but obviously that is, I guess, kind of like 75% up to me and 25% up to you guys, the audience, because I mean, I could make whatever I wanted, but even if it's really good, theoretically, maybe just no one will watch it. You know, it all depends on what you guys want, which is why I had a straw poll a week ago or something asking what people would like to see me continue, and it's gotten, as I kind of expected, not many votes, and it's just sort of all over the place, which, yeah, I kind of have the problem that Sonic games have, where they've done so many different things and genres and tried this and that and this and that, that no one really knows what a Sonic game is anymore, and they don't really know what they want. There's this big split in the fan bases of, like, Sonic Adventure fans and classic Sonic fans and Sonic 06 fans, and just very strange. One thing about my channel that I've been very self-aware about is how much of it I really focus on Sonic, because you may have noticed in the past maybe year or at least a few months, I have tried to sort of step away a little bit and focus a lot more on, I guess, more kind of original sort of things, or just Jurassic Park and Back to the Future, and recently Overwatch, playing a ton of Overwatch with my friends, things like Ark, Survival Evolved, all those little things, mainly because I love Sonic, I really do, but I don't want that to just be what I do. My most popular video is the 7 More Sonic Facts one, which has 122,000 views as I speak, which is crazy. And while I think that video is alright, it's a lot better than the first one, the 10 Sonic Facts one. I would rather that other videos I was making, other videos that I have been making, were getting that kind of spotlight a bit more. I just don't really like it how it's kind of like, oh, do a Sonic video that people just like somehow, more than others, and that's just how you make views. And I don't want to be doing just Sonic stuff. I want it to be a kind of average playing field. You get a little bit of Sonic, you get a little bit of Nintendo stuff like Smash Brothers and Zelda and all that. You get a little bit of Overwatch, you get a little bit of Jurassic Park, a little bit of Back to the Future. All those things. I kind of want that to be an average thing, but I still respect the fact that, in a way, Sonic is kind of the foundation that this whole thing was built upon, but I do want to make it a bit different. The new channel art, as you may have seen, Sonic is in it, but he doesn't take as much of a spotlight as the dinosaurs kind of do in that banner, because I just wanted to kind of relate it more to my animation and just sort of dinosaur stuff, because I just really love dinosaurs, you know. That's something that I actually have been loving since I was like a baby, you know, or Sonic I got into when I was a little bit older. Yeah, the public perception of Sonic obviously doesn't help, you know. I've got a lot of friends who we kind of all joke around like, yeah, Caleb's channel's really cringy and it's all just, you know, dumb Sonic videos, and I'm kind of like, yeah, you know, I sort of want to step away from that a little bit, because the public eye of Sonic is not very positive. That's partially why I was bullied in primary school quite a bit in my later years of that, from friends of mine or just people who were all making fun of the fact that I liked the character of Sonic. And I will admit, obviously at the time I was like a little bit too crazy about it, you know, like a little bit obsessive, but at the same time, you know, what they were doing obviously wasn't right. Again, that's the public kind of, that's the popular opinion of Sonic is, oh, shitty game series, anyone that likes it's an idiot or a furry or something weird like that, the fan base is terrible. You know, I can kind of agree with that last one. The next step I want to do with my channel is change the profile picture from that Sonic icon in Source Filmmaker to maybe like a kind of stylized image of my face, like a drawing or something. So at some point later down the line, I've been wanting to commission someone to draw something that's me, not something else that I like, if that makes any sense. I'd like it to be more personal and interesting. And I have a ton of video ideas that I've been wanting to do for so long. Some about Sonic, some that I've not, that I just haven't got around to doing, and I'll talk more about that right at the end in a mini announcement, so stick around for that next couple minutes. I would love to see the public view of Sonic change with the new game for the anniversary. I would love for this to be the big thing that gets people back into it. Generations really did help, but Lost World and Boom did not, and they followed not that far after. Colors and Generations really got people kind of like, hey, you know what, maybe these games can be good. And then Lost World and Boom came out, and Boom, way more than Lost World, really made people like, no, we're right the whole time, guys. Game's shit, terrible series, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really hoping that Sonic Team's got something good up their sleeves, especially with the idea that they may have been working on whatever this anniversary game is from when they did the last anniversary game, which was Generations 5 years ago. So here's hoping it's a really good game. So my final word for this video is, to start with, I want to thank just a couple people out there who may be watching. I don't know if you've even stuck around this long. So mainly to my friends Steve, Cameron, and Tom. Steve of Billionaire Productions, who I would imagine all of you watching should know. My friend Cameron over at Epoch Phoenix on YouTube and DeviantArt, and Tom being Nintendo. You can check out him on DeviantArt. I'll have all of these in the description. These people have just done a lot of just cool stuff for Sonic, or just for me. Steve obviously made a ton of really cool, you know, Sonic related videos. He kind of set the standard that I try to sort of aim for when I'm doing similar work of animations and just Sonic stuff. My friend Cameron does a lot of really cool renders and animations and SFM sort of stuff. I do want to learn to get onto Blender soon to help with making renders for my videos, things like the thumbnails and all that. And again, kind of similar thing with Tom. Nintendo does a lot of amazing Sonic renders, and just that kind of stuff is just really great. And people I may not personally know that I'd still really like to give a shout out to is obviously Some Call Me Johnny. His reviews have just been a constant kind of thing in the back of my head, and someone I've always kept to watching, and I would love to meet him or speak with him one day, which would be great. Also, in relation to him, people like Brain Scratch Commentaries, I keep up with their stuff all the time. I love watching them, Sonic playthroughs and all that. People like Gareth from Find the Computer Room, FTCR, again, just great. There's so many people in the fan base that are just really wonderful, entertaining, amazing content creators, and despite the bad rap the Sonic fanbase gets a lot of the time, when you really get into it, it's pretty damn good. Like, there's some amazing talent and people in this group. I wish I could go to that anniversary party in the next month with people like Steve and all that stuff, because that would just be phenomenal. Like, what other character out there really gets this much support every year? Like, annual fan conventions and just so many fan-made videos, and like is there a Mario convention every year? I don't think there is. I mean, I love Mario, but there are a lot of people that love Mario, but like, would they be prepared to go to a Mario themed convention? I think Sonic has the edge because he's got a bit more of that kind of story and I guess things like voice acting and character and stuff to it, whereas Mario is a kind of very vanilla sort of thing. It's still great, but I think that's part of the reason why Sonic has such a great following within the group. So I'm actually eager to announce that I will eventually be reviewing all of the classic Sonic games in some short time, but unfortunately I have no clue on when I would get around to it. Things like school and background noise, I'm lucky I'm even recording this at the moment without anything going on in the background, no one being home and all that. I don't know when I'd ever get to doing these videos, but they have been in the back of my head. I've made thumbnail ideas for them already. I might show one or two at the moment here. I have so many things I want to say that I haven't really heard of from other people so much with these games, but I would also really want to move on to, after that, doing reviews of things like Jurassic Park, all the Jurassic Park movies, all the Back to the Future movies, maybe some other games that I've played, some other movies that I've watched, because I have a lot of things to say about them, and I'm just really excited to do that stuff. I've really wanted to do like proper scripted, edited videos like that for so long. You guys have no idea. But the problem is, again, just time. But I figured I would start with a Sonic one because I've already established myself as a fairly Sonic-centric sort of YouTube channel. A lot of Sonic fans come here, so I figured start with the Sonic reviews, then move on to other stuff. Trust me, I'm going to try to make them a little bit different and not so vanilla and conventional to just, oh, I really like this game, it's got very good blah blah. I really want to get into the kind of the nitty-gritty, interesting little niche things that people don't really talk about. That's mainly with the movies I'm looking at, but I think they can apply to the games as well. A lot of little things I want to mention that I don't feel people bring up a lot in these kind of reviews, so I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I hope you guys will watch them when they eventually come out. God knows when. Next year, I should have a lot more time to work on videos, and that will be great. So thank you so much for watching this video that went on for way longer than I thought it would, and for sticking around with my history with the Blue Hedgehog. Here's hoping the 25th anniversary is the best one yet. Please leave any thoughts you have about this video in the comments, along with any questions you might have. Being a fairly small channel at the moment, I have the time to read and reply to all of my comments, so if you have anything you'd like to say, please pop it down below. Hopefully we can start getting some kind of conversation going, getting everyone together, stuff like that. Speaking of conversation, if you have a Discord, I would highly recommend checking out my TelekinesticMan Discord server that I have. Not many people are really in it at the moment, it's mainly just my friends, but if you would like to come on in and chat with me or me and my friends, that's a great thing to hop into. I'd also be posting like announcements and videos and stuff like that in there, so you can get a direct kind of link straight there when it gets announced. I would love to interact with a lot more of my fans so I can kind of turn them into friends, so they're not just sort of faceless numbers that watch my videos. I would love to actually engage with them, and I think that would be really great if you guys would just check that out when you have the time. Thank you all once again for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and like to listen along to what I had to say, and a happy 25th birthday to Sonic the Hedgehog. Hopefully you got another 25 years lined up of great fun times. Thank you all again. Oh god. This is so unscripted.